proud students of Miss Robinson's English class. William Shakespeare here to talk to you today about symbolism and how I might use it in some of my plays and sonnets. Of course, it's important to talk about symbolism. Symbolism is the use of symbols to represent big ideas. Therefore, the symbol is something you can see and touch, and the big idea is something you cannot. In literature, sometimes we have big ideas that we can't necessarily understand, so an author uses a symbol or symbolism to help us make sense of this big idea. In your day, symbols help us through everyday life. When you see a big red octagon, what do you think of? Well, a stop sign naturally, and what should you do when you see one of those? Well, you should stop. When you see a symbol being used in a story, you should be able to connect that object, which usually is a physical object, with the big idea, which is not the physical object, that the author wants you to understand. For example, when one of my characters is wearing a grand purple robe, you can guess that this person is some form of royalty, because in history, royalty wore the color purple. Yes. Another example is night. If daylight and sunrise literally and figuratively represent life, or new beginnings, what might night be a symbol for? Yes, you got it, death. We use signifiers and signified to help us understand what symbols are and what they represent. The signifier is the physical object or action that we can see. The signified is the big idea the author is trying to get across that we cannot see. So now, thou mangled urchin-snouted hedge pigs, I hand it over to Miss Robinson.
Hey, thanks, Will. So as Will talked to you about, symbolism is the use of symbols or physical objects to represent an object that is not physical. Objects such as love. There is no picture in the dictionary that describes love. We use symbols to help us understand what love is. So in order to understand love, sometimes we use a symbol like a heart, because the heart has become a symbol and it is used in symbolism to represent love. So let's continue on with the example that Will gave you, which is the stop sign. When you see a stop sign, you don't even need to read the sign to know what you should be doing. It is the fact that the object is red, large, and octagonal that tells you what you should be doing. We have learned that this red octagonal sign means and is a symbol for stop. So we don't even need to read the sign in order to know what we should be doing. With that idea in mind, we're going to move on to talk about signifier and signified. Signifier and signified is just a method that we use to help us understand symbols and what they represent. Okay, so let's talk about signifier and signified. The signifier, over here, is our physical object, our symbol, if you will. Our signified, which is over here, is the big idea, the not so physical, not concrete, more abstract, big idea that the author is trying to convey through the use of signifiers or symbolism, which are the same thing, just different ways to explain. So, let's look at our example of the rose. The rose is a physical object. We can see roses, we can hold roses, we can touch them, we can smell them. They're very physical. We can see them. So, when we think about roses, what comes to mind? Well, roses tend to be red usually. We think of roses as being red most of the time. We think of roses as being beautiful. We give them to people we love. On Valentine's Day, for example. What else about roses? They're youthful. When they bloom, they're young and vibrant and beautiful, as we discussed. So, a couple of things we could add over to our signified. So these are big ideas, only big ideas, not concrete, cannot see these, let's say beauty and youth. There is no picture in the dictionary for beauty because beauty is subjective as well as youth. Youth is subjective. There's no picture in the dictionary that tells us what beauty and youth look like because we use symbols to represent these big ideas, such as the rose. So this is how signifier and signified works. The signifier goes over in the left-hand column, so that's our symbol of rose, and the signified, the big ideas, go over in the right-hand corner. So what I'm going to do is write in here, this is our symbol or concrete / physical object. If I could spell, that'd be great. Physical object. And the signified, these are our big ideas / abstract objects. So, what is most important is that you understand that the signifier is a physical object and the signified are the big ideas and abstract objects. These things you cannot touch. You cannot touch beauty, you cannot touch youth. They're not able to be touched, but we can touch and hold a rose. So, what I want you to be able to do is to fill out one of these graphic organizers on your own. So what I have is a couple examples for you in physical paper form that you'll be filling out now for independent practice, and I will be moving around the room to help answer any questions that we have or any complications that come about. Okay, so let's get started.